Hi, welcome to Craft It Sweetly. I'm Deanna. Thanks so much for being here. With this video, I would like to start a one-year project. Sounds crazy, right? What am I even talking about? I am talking about this pattern, and this pattern. What does that even mean? So if I'm looking at these, it's just strips of color, basically. Right there. And same with this. Just strips of color. What is all this? Have you heard of a temperature blanket? If not, I'll explain the concept to you. And I am basically applying that idea to a temperature book. So same concept, but we are doing it in a book versus doing it with a blanket, crocheting it or knitting it. So what does all that mean? With a temperature blanket, and therefore with a temperature book, with a blanket, what a crafter does, or what somebody who crochets or knits does, they will take the high temperature of the day in the city they live in and crochet a row of that yarn color. So let's say today in Cleveland, I believe it was like 83 degrees. So it's this yellow. They would be knitting a row of yellow. Now tomorrow, let's say the temperature drops to 74, they would be knitting a row of green. So they do this every single day for an entire year, and they choose what color yarn, in our case it's going to be what color strip, to use based on the temperature of the day. And I created the pattern, so these three patterns, you have samples of the strips for each of these temperatures. Now, depending on where you live, you may never hit 120 degrees. So you would never even print things like, the reds and the oranges, for example. If you know, like the temperature in your city ranges throughout the year from 30 degrees to 81 degrees, then you can select and print those particular pages for you. Now, these patterns are based on a 23 centimeter book for the height. And for the pages, I only did 200 pages for each one, which means I've got about 40 strips for each color. Are there 40 days that you're over 110 degrees? Probably not. So maybe print just one page for your, for your purposes. So this is a very interactive pattern, and it's a very customizable pattern, I guess, based on where you live. So I have all this in my Etsy shop, and I have a link in the description box. Depending on where you live, like I said, you may only use a certain range. Now, and I have it in Fahrenheit and in Celsius if you're not in the US. What I also attached was a separate temperature range based on warmer climates. So now this will look the same here, but you'll notice that the temperatures for here are only 5 degrees different. So let's say you live in Florida or Arizona, where the temperature never really goes to 43 degrees, or I'm sorry, or let's say where the temperature doesn't go to -9. So what I did was I created the temperature range from 115 to 37 for Fahrenheit, or 46 to 3 degrees Celsius. And you're more likely going to be in this range here, but then occasionally it may dip, like 49 degrees or something as a high. So you would use this. So I did the range here 5 degrees. Here it's 9 degrees for each area. So each color has 9-degree reference. Now you may have a day that's 95, 93, then 91. You would be using this orange, like yellow orange, for 3 days in a row. So the goal at the end of the year, and you do have to do this every single day. I mean, I suppose you could, do it for 2 days if you've missed a day and go back and see what the high was for the previous day, if you want to do it every couple of days. It only takes like 10 seconds to apply the strip. So what I would probably suggest is kind of look ahead and see what the temperature range is for the next 10 days, and have the strips ready printed, folded, and then day of, you would just apply the strip based on what the high was for that day. And then at the end of the year, you're going to have a snapshot, or it's not even a snapshot actually, of visual of the temperatures throughout the year based every single day. So you're going to see, if you're in the colder climates up north in the US or, Northern Europe, you'll see, your temperature going from here to here, if you're in the winter's time. So this will be a fun project, and I would love to see, how many people will end up participating with this. I would suggest, if you're seeing this video prior to July 15th, gather your supplies. You can get this pattern, the strips and everything, in my Etsy shop, and have everything ready so we can all start as a group on July 15th. Now, if you're seeing this video after July 15th, then it doesn't mean that you cannot participate. You would just be starting a week or a month later whenever you see this video. And then you would be doing it at your own pace every single day. And then if you start on July 15th of this year, then we can all share the books on July 14th or 15th of 2025 and see what the temperature ranges are across the world. We have people that are in Australia. Your books are going to be flipped from us in the US with your temperature ranges. So I think this will be a really, really fun project. If you would like to join, comment in my Facebook group, and we can see what the temperature is in the city you're living in and how it varies throughout the year. So I'm not doing any folding with this. Again, this is going to start July 15th. If you're seeing the video prior to that, just gather your supplies, and we can all start on July 15th and kind of keep us going throughout the year. So no folding today, just kind of going over the project idea and what we're going to do for the next year. Again, absolutely do not print all these pages at once. I'm in Cleveland, and right now the temperatures have been in the 80s, so I'm just going to print out probably maybe like these 3 strips here, the yellows, the orange. We have not been over 111, so I doubt I'm going to use, hopefully not, have to use any of the reds. But once I get into, I think we hit 100 degrees one day, but it's mostly going to be my yellows. So all these files are in the Etsy shop, but you can obviously download all of them, but you're only going to use the ones you need based on your city. Now, sure, you could cut out colored paper and just, use that for your strips. That's certainly doable, but I thought this would make it easier. It's an ink saver design so that you can just fold it right down the middle and apply and not have to, find all these different colors of paper if you're just using paper, regular copy paper that you can get at the store. I believe you can, probably get some of the basic colors, but certainly not this range of colors. So if you have any questions about this, please comment below. I would absolutely love it if you can join this project and we can share, how the book is looking. We don't have to wait till July 15 of 2025 to share the progress of the book. We can share it, maybe once a month. We can share it and see how our month looked where you live. So I'm really excited about this. If you have any questions, comment below. You will get the temperature ranges for warmer climates, the regular temperature range, and then these 3 sets of patterns in the listing from the Etsy shop. And then, of course, you'll need a book that's 365 pages. I found the book in its 390 pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave equal number of pages at the front and in the back, and then do just the pattern in the middle. Also, it's slightly shorter than 23 centimeters when I looked at it, I believe. But I'll probably just end up using this and then maybe add a border at the bottom or something. So it looks like maybe it's, 2 millimeters shorter than it should be. But I'm fine with that. I will just add something at the bottom. So find yourself a 365-page book. Get this whole packet in my Etsy listing. And then let's see how temperatures look in the city over the course of a year. Thanks so much for watching, and looking forward to having you participate in this project that's going to take us a year to complete. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next project.